I opened the fridge last night but completely forgot what I came for. I'm sure I had a meeting with a friend, but I couldn't remember who I was supposed to meet. Have you ever had an experience like this? Is this just forgetfulness, or is it the beginning of dementia? If you watch this video to the end, you'll find the answer. More importantly, you'll learn how to protect your brain from this very moment. Currently, 1 in 10 seniors over 65 in America is living with dementia. That's about 10% of the elderly population. By age 85, that number becomes 1 in 3. But there's an even more shocking truth right now. 5 everyday habits you're unconsciously repeating are quietly destroying your precious brain cells. Hello, everyone. I am a geriatric medicine specialist who has treated thousands of dementia patients over the past 25 years. Today, I'll reveal the heartbreaking reality I've witnessed in my clinical practice, along with the 5 deadly habits that put your brain at risk. Just a moment, before we start the video, I have one request. Hit the subscribe button right now to make sure you don't miss out on this valuable health information. Turn on notifications and hit the like button, too. And leave the number 1 in the comments to show your commitment to watching until the end. Your small click can bring hope to many people. After you hear the story I'm about to tell you, you'll understand why I'm asking so earnestly. 3 months ago, a man named Mr. Miller came to my office. At 75, Mr. Miller was a man who had lived his whole life with integrity. He had worked as a public servant for 30 years, taken care of his family, and became a respected elder in his community after retiring. But 2 years ago, strange symptoms began to appear. At first, he thought it was just simple forgetfulness. He would lose his keys or forget appointments. His family thought nothing of it, saying, "He's just getting older." But the situation got more and more serious. He started getting lost in the house he'd lived in his whole life, mistaking his daughter-in-law for a neighbor. And eventually, he couldn't even remember his own name. The most heartbreaking moment was when Mr. Miller looked at me and said, "Doctor, why did my mind become like this? Did I do something wrong? I feel so sorry for my family, I just want to die." The air in the office froze, and I saw his son's shoulders trembling beside him. The reality for Mr. Miller's family was even more tragic. His daughter-in-law hadn't gotten a proper night's sleep in 3 months, trying to keep her father-in-law from leaving the house at night. And his son was about to take a leave of absence from his job, with hospital and caregiving costs of over $2,000 a month. The family's finances were on the brink of collapse. This is the devastating reality that dementia brings to a family. But I want to bring you a message of hope. Dementia is not an unavoidable fate. According to the latest announcement from the World Health Organization, more than 40% of dementia cases are preventable simply by making lifestyle changes. This means that with the right knowledge and action, you can absolutely avoid a tragedy like Mr. Miller's. In fact, I've met many surprisingly sharp patients in their 90s. A 92-year-old woman named Mrs. Lee still reads the newspaper and video chats with her grandchildren. And a 95-year-old man named Mr. Choi goes for a 30-minute walk every morning. What do these people have in common? They have avoided the 5 bad habits I'm about to tell you about for their entire lives. Now, I will reveal the 5 deadly habits that are destroying your brain, one by one. Check if you have any of these habits. The first brain-destroying habit: social isolation. The first habit is social isolation. Many seniors, after they retire or lose a spouse, stay cooped up at home. They gradually reduce their social interactions, giving reasons like, "It's a hassle," or "I'm tired." But this is like a deadly poison for the brain. A shocking 20-year study by the University of London that followed 120,000 people found that socially isolated people had a more than 50% higher incidence of dementia. Why? Our brains work most actively when we are talking, sharing emotions, and exchanging new information. Just like a muscle needs to be used to stay strong, the brain needs constant stimulation and activity to remain healthy. Conversely, the longer you spend alone, the weaker the connections between your brain cells become. And eventually, the entire brain begins to shrink. In American society, there is a cultural characteristic of being too humble to show loneliness, which can make it even easier to become isolated. But you must change your mindset. Remember that participating in senior centers or community programs, having regular meetings with old friends, and communicating frequently with family are not just leisure activities. They are essential treatments for preserving brain health. The second brain-destroying habit: chronic sleep deprivation. The second habit is chronic sleep deprivation. Many people think it's natural to need less sleep as you get older. They accept waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. as a matter of course. But this is a big misconception. During sleep, an amazing thing happens in our brain. A special fluid called cerebrospinal fluid washes the entire brain like a washing machine. This is when toxic substances like amyloid beta and tau proteins, the direct causes of dementia, are cleared out. A study by Harvard Medical School found that people who sleep less than 6 hours a day have more than 30% more of these toxic substances accumulated in their brains. Furthermore, during sleep, the information you learned during the day is converted into long-term memories. When you don't get enough sleep, this process doesn't work properly, leading to a rapid decline in memory. It's natural for many older adults to wake up early, but it's important to go to bed early enough to get 7 to 8 hours of total sleep. The third brain-destroying habit: sugary temptations and bad eating. The third brain-destroying habit, and this one might be surprising, is giving in to sweet temptations. Many seniors enjoy adding a lot of sugar to their coffee and eating sweet snacks or rice cakes. They also often skip meals or eat without much thought, saying, "I just don't have an appetite as I get older." But these irregular eating habits directly attack the brain. When your blood sugar levels spike and crash repeatedly, it causes inflammation and damage to the blood vessels in your brain. This is exactly why people with diabetes have a more than twofold higher risk of dementia. A shocking finding from researchers at the University of Washington showed that the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory, was noticeably smaller in people who frequently consumed sugary foods. In contrast, people who followed a Mediterranean diet had a 53% lower risk of dementia. The core of the Mediterranean diet is simple: eat plenty of fresh vegetables, fruits, nuts, and fish, and avoid processed and sugary foods. Most importantly, eat regularly and chew your food slowly and thoroughly. The act of chewing itself increases blood flow to the brain and improves brain function. The fourth brain-destroying habit: lack of exercise. The fourth brain-destroying habit is not moving. It's natural to become less active as you age. Many people take the elevator instead of the stairs, use a car for short distances, and sit on the sofa all day watching TV. But when your body stops, your brain stops with it. The effect of exercise on the brain is truly astonishing. When you move your body, a special substance called BDNF is released in your brain. It acts like a fertilizer for brain cells, helping new ones grow and making the connections between existing ones stronger. Exercise also reduces stress hormones and increases blood flow to the brain, providing an ample supply of oxygen and nutrients. A study from Columbia University found that people who exercised at a moderate intensity for 30 minutes, 3 times a week, had a 38% lower risk of dementia than those who didn't. Exercise doesn't have to be a big deal. Taking a walk in your neighborhood, using the stairs, or gardening are all great forms of exercise. The key is consistency. Develop the habit of moving your body a little every day. The fifth brain-destroying habit: poor stress management and relying on alcohol and tobacco. The fifth and final brain-destroying habit is failing to manage stress and relying on alcohol and tobacco. As you get older, your worries often increase. Financial concerns, health anxieties, family relationships, and loneliness can all cause chronic stress. Some people turn to alcohol or smoking to cope, but this is like feeding poison to your brain. Chronic stress causes an over-secretion of the hormone cortisol. This hormone directly attacks brain cells and can cause severe damage to the hippocampus, the part responsible for memory. A long-term study from Stanford University found that people with high stress levels were 2.5 times more likely to develop dementia 20 years later. Alcohol directly destroys brain cells, and smoking constricts the blood vessels in the brain, reducing blood flow. It also increases oxidative stress, which rapidly accelerates brain aging. Find healthy ways to manage your stress. Mind-body exercises like meditation, yoga, and Tai Chi are helpful, as are hobbies and religious activities that give you a sense of peace. I've just told you about the 5 deadly habits that cause dementia. Social isolation, sleep deprivation, poor eating habits, lack of exercise and stress combined with alcohol and smoking. How many of these habits do you have?